The best endorsement I can give our guest today is that I was her real estate client, and now I am happy to also have her as a friend. The right real estate professional in Mexico can be your most valuable asset or your worst nightmare. We'll give you insights on all this as we talk real estate on this episode of the Rocky Point Podcast.
Welcome, Puerto Peñasco lovers. This is the Rocky Point Podcast with award-winning host Thomas Baldrick.
Hi, I'm Thomas Baldrick. Thanks for spending your time with us. If you come to Puerto Peñasco, there's a good chance you'll fall in love with the place. And when you do, there's then a good chance that you'll say, how can I get here more? Could I actually own a place here? The answer is yes, you can. Yes, you can. And when that moment in time happens in your life, I strongly recommend you speak to our guest today, Miss Jennifer Ridsdel. She is a sales extraordinaire with the Sonoran Resorts.
Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
The electroshock therapy worked. We got you here. The cattle prodding worked.
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool. This will be fun.
I hope so.
Let's talk about your background in real estate here.
I started with the Sonorans a few years back. I'm on my 8th year now with them. I started off as a sales consultant, and then within the year, I decided to become a licensed real estate agent, working exclusively for the Sonoran properties. I decided to become licensed so I can be of better service for my buyers, as I'm a buyer's agent only. I wanted to be able to educate them on the current Mexican laws of real estate here in, especially Puerto Peñasco.
2019, how's the market?
It's very hot right now. The market declined years ago. We've been on a recovery basis for the last few years, and we just continue to see it back up again, which is a good thing.
So you're one of those people I mentioned right at the top who fell in love with this place. Talk about how and when that happened for you.
Before we came here, we had fallen in love with the Sea of Cortez, but over on the Baja side with my family, RVing, camping on the beaches in San Felipe. And then many years later, some friends had vacationed down here, and they were showing us their pictures from Puerto Peñasco. And I was intrigued by it because I knew it was, after looking at a map, it was very close to the Arizona area. And I thought, well, it'd be an interesting place to check out on the Sea of Cortez. So my daughter and I booked an airline ticket to fly to Phoenix. Everybody thought we were kind of nuts, the two women driving down to an area we'd never been. We didn't know, but we thought, we'll give it a try. And when we got here, I called my husband immediately and I said, get out the checkbook. I found our paradise. I didn't know where it was going to be in this area, but I knew it would be here in Puerto Peñasco. And then we ended up buying at the Sonoran Spa Resort. And I've called that home now for the 11 years, full-time for over 10.
So talk about that. I called this home because I think your story is inspirational to other people for how they might be able to make it work, because your family does make it work.
Yes. Well, this is a hike for us. It's 15 hours drive door to door. We've been coming back down here for 11 years, the family, but living here full time for myself, we've made it work because my kids come back and forth. My son even bought a condo here at the Sonoran Sun Resort, and he renovated and made his custom beach home what he wanted. My husband works down here when he's here. He does have the fiber optics internet. We have that at the Sonoran Spa Resort, so he can work from Rocky Point. He has his clients laugh. It's like, oh, Doug, when they call him, are you in the southern office or the northern office this week? And a lot of times he'll say, oh, I'm in the southern office. And so then people always ask, well, what's it like down there? So a lot of people always ask questions about Mexico, and especially being on the beaches of the Sea of Cortez. So we make it work. And my daughter actually got engaged down here, and she loves it as much as the rest of us do.
I've never seen your husband, Doug, work down here. I thought he was a full-time La Cerveza ambassador.
Well, you would know, Thomas, because the two of you are quite often working together.
We gel.
Yeah. But no, he does work when he's here. He can hold conference calls. He's on his computer. And yes, he does work, believe it or not.
And there are expats who come down here full-time. They come down here part-time, but they make it work too.
Yes, it's very easy to make it work.
Okay, we'll dive into real estate right after this break here on the Rocky Point Podcast. Rocky Point lovers, our ship has finally come in, thanks to Cruise and Maritime Voyages. Our friends from the UK have invested heavily in turning the long-time dream of a cruise destination into reality. Introducing the Treasures of the Sea of Cortez cruise. This one-of-a-kind experience sails round trip from Puerto Peñasco, embarking on an 11-night discovery of some of Mexico's best-kept secrets. Enjoy breathtaking natural wonders, amazing wildlife, spectacular islands, and destinations such as Mazatlan, Cabo San Lucas, La Paz, and more. Sail in an intimate, luxurious setting on board the Astoria, a lovely ship with room for only 550 passengers. She features delicious onboard cuisine, activities, entertainment, and service second to none. There are only 6 voyages between December and February, so book now and turn Puerto Peñasco's dream cruise into yours by taking the Treasures of the Sea of Cortez cruise. As part of the Rocky Point podcast, you can save $200 by getting a free one-category upgraded cabin for 2. Just use the code RPP. That's a $200 value with the code RPP. Don't worry, you'll find all this information on our website at rockypointpodcast.com. Discover your slice of Rocky Point paradise at Sonoran Sun 510 East. This all newly redone one-bedroom condo has the beachiest theme in Puerto Peñasco, spectacular views of the Sea of Cortez, and spectacular online reviews from real guests like these. Exceptional, adorable condo with attentive service, amazing in every way. This place is unbelievable. You will not want to leave. Beautiful, clean, comfortable, and cozy. We will definitely be back. Sonoran Sun 510 East has 5-star ratings on Airbnb and VRBO. With perfect 10s on Booking.com, the site made the condo one of its top picks, calling it a booker's favorite. Want a place to relax, rejuvenate, rekindle romance? Just search Sonoran Sun 510 East to watch the YouTube videos. Book online or book direct and save by calling 602-688-3330. That's 602-688-3330. Create your own amazing guest experience. Stay and play at Sonoran Sun 510 East.
Now back to the Rocky Point podcast.
We are back with Jennifer Ridsdel of the Sonoran Resorts. Jennifer, you work long hours. You work days which end in a Y.
Yes, I do.
But before you do that, the mornings here, the time you spend at your condo, your home, the time on the balcony is pretty sacred to you.
It is. I enjoy starting every day sitting on my balcony, my patio that looks right out onto the Sea of Cortez. When my husband's here, we always have our breakfast out there. In the morning, we talk about the day, what we each have going on, and we also love watching the water because almost every single morning the dolphins are swimming by. Where they're going, I don't know. They head west, and in the afternoon they head east again. So it is very amazing to sit there and be able to see that. Also, certain times of the year, being when the weather's cooler, December, January, and February, we can actually see the whales spouting from our balcony. So it's pretty cool. The mornings are very special here. Also, sunsets in the evening are unbelievable. Yes.
Good for the soul.
Yes, it is. And then if you want to take a walk on the beach in the morning too, that's very nice. A lot of times I don't have that luxury too much. I have my breakfast and then get ready and head off into the office.
So let's talk about what you do with such passion and professionalism. Talk about being a buyer's agent.
Well, I represent buyers only. I work for the Sonoran Sales Group. Our sales director, Jim Rehnquist, he represents the seller's side of any transaction, and the other sales consultants and myself, we represent the buyers. I look out for your best interest. Jim takes care of the seller's side. This way, each party can be represented properly, and my job is to get you the best deal and work on the whole process throughout until you close, and then from then on, I'm still here to help you however you need.
So in other words, people are listening to this and they're thinking, wow, she has to go up against her boss all the time.
Yes, I do. But we have a healthy relationship. We both are passionate, and yes, I do go up against my boss, but we end up we're doing the best thing for our clients on both sides. And I've got some great deals for some wonderful people. And it works. It does work. But you do need someone to represent your best interest and be your advocate, fighting your battle. And that it comes down to the dollar signs.
And Jim's okay. He's got a first aid kit in his office.
Yes, like I said, we've had our battles, but in the end, it works. It does work.
the Sonoran Resorts? There's 4 of them. Each has their own unique look, their own story, their own benefits.
Yes, the Sonoran Spa was our first property ever built on Sandy Beach, and it was started in 2001. The spa has some great charms to the resort itself, has a fabulous on-site restaurant, the Sonoran Grill, a full spa where people can go and have manicures, pedicures, facials, relax the whole day. Also, every resort does have a workout facility, and the spa has a wonderful convenience store. They all have convenience stores, but the spa resort, the store is owned by American people that stock it with American items that we're used to, where it's harder things to find when you're down here in Mexico. Then the Sea was built second in 2003. And that resort also is fabulous. They improved, as the Sonorans did, the developers, when they built each resort as they got newer. The balconies got larger when they built the Sonoran Sea Resort, which is a very nice feature because a lot of your outdoor living space, it's outdoors. And, the condo's a great place to, come hang out, cook a meal, get dressed, get ready to start your day. Most of everything is happening outside here. So the balconies are important. And at the Sonoran Sea, the balconies got larger. Then the Sonoran Sun Resort was built in 2005. This resort, and this happens to be where we're doing the podcast today, the Sonoran Sun has a fabulous courtyard lined with fountains and arches and ironwork throughout, and it leads right out onto the Sea of Cortez. So it is beautiful, great Spanish feel to this resort. The condos are slightly larger over here than they are at the Spa and Sea. The balconies also are larger. All of them have a great workout room and restaurants. The Sea, the Sun, and the Sky have swim-up bars. The spa has a bar, but it's called a gazebo bar. You have to get out of the pool to get your cocktails.
Oh, what a pity.
Yeah, it's tough work. But, sometimes they'll even offer to give it to you in the pool if you kind of wave them down, and they'll come and help you. So it's all good. The Sonoran Sky was the last resort built in 2007. The Sky is where they totally changed their whole dynamics. They made it very luxurious finishes with inside. Stainless steel appliances, beautiful countertops, mosaic medallion as you enter the resort, beveled glass doors, windows as you enter each condo. Again, the condos are larger and the balconies are larger. The resort itself is the smallest of our Sonoran properties, where all the others are a little over 200 condos, between 202 and 228 condos. The Sky Resort only has 136 condos. It has a more intimate feel, high-end feel over there, and vacationers love to go there because it is the property that's closest to town being the Old Port area. It's not that it's that far away if you're at the others, but within 5 minutes it's shorter, so people like that.
So you're here by yourself and coming here with your daughter, just on a blind road trip.
Yes.
You shatter the question, which I can't believe is still being asked in 2019, is it safe to go to Rocky Point?
People ask that of me all the time, and I tell them as long as you don't drink too much and you put on your sunscreen. Mexico has rules and regulations and laws just like any other place in this world. A lot of people, when they cross the border, they think, oh, we can do whatever we want. You need to use your common sense here. You don't want to leave your purse on the front seat of a car and leave the keys in the ignition and the windows down. It doesn't matter if you're in Mexico or if you're in Phoenix or Tucson or Colorado Springs. It doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, use your common sense and don't do stupid things.
Pretty well said.
Thank you.
The aspect of safety, just going back to the Sonoran Resorts, is I know here at the Sonoran Sun especially, the HOA, the security staff here is second to none. Not because they're such hardliners, but because they're on it. They remember faces. They remember names. I left my phone at the pool bar.
I was going to mention that yesterday. Yes, and they found you immediately and got your phone right back to you.
They are just fantastic. Which, if you're Doug, your husband, he's like, okay, cool. She's in good hands down there.
Yes. All the HOAs have a fantastic HOA staff, being maintenance and security. All the resorts have security. When you pull into the resort from the street, they check everyone coming into the property as well as on the beach side. There's security out there as well. They need to know who's on the property and what their purpose is. And that is great at all the Sonoran properties.
So let's talk about, there are differences buying real estate in Puerto Peñasco versus Colorado or Arizona, et cetera. Could you touch on those?
Sure. One of the big issues people always ask me is about financing. Can I get a loan for buying property in Mexico? And if you go to a bank in the U.S. and tell them that you want to borrow money, they're going to say no, because years ago they did, but laws changed. And if somebody defaults on a loan, it's harder for the bank to get the property back. They will, but it is a lengthy process because we are in a foreign country. Down here in Mexico, if a buyer is needing financing, that we have some that are called owner carryback. So the seller or the owner of that property will offer financing. It's what's called an owner carryback. Most of those are with a balloon payment, and most are with a 5-year balloon. And I always have to ask any buyer, do you understand how a balloon payment works? Because you need to understand the ins and outs of that. And so that's the financing part, is something that a lot of people are not familiar with. The other difference is, how do us foreigners, I'm not a Mexican national, so how do us foreigners hold title to the property once it's paid off in full? So that title is held in a Mexican bank trust, and we have a notario is who handles that for you, being a buyer. So the Sonoran Sales Group, we help you through that whole process as well. And we set up the meetings with the notario for you to go and meet with. The notario is when you hear the name notario, it is not a notary public in Spanish. A notario is actually a lawyer that is been elected into this position, and they're like a judge. And so they work with all the buyers and sellers, because you have to have the title put into your name, and that title's held in a Mexican bank trust. And they will walk you through that whole process.
One of those things, that a rumor that becomes fact, that, if you buy real estate in Rocky Point, you'll never own it, and they can take it away from you.
Years ago, it was different. And I'll say that's where it comes back down to working with a reputable real estate agent, because there's a lot of people that will sell properties anywhere in the world, but mainly here in Mexico. They may not be dealing directly with the owner of that property. With the Sonorans, because that's my expertise, with the Sonorans, we will not sell anything unless there's a clear title, and we know exactly who the owner is, who has their name on the public registry for that property. And at that point, then Jim will take the listing, and then that's my job, is then to sell it.
So you mentioned a balloon payment. Would you explain what that is exactly and how that works?
Okay, a balloon payment is you give the seller a down payment. Usually it's 20%. Some sellers want a little bit more. Then the interest rate is, I try to get 5.9, because that's what the developers offer on their property still that they own at the Sky. You make monthly payments, principal and interest, and then at the end of the term, which is usually a 5-year balloon, you pay the balance of the loan off. All of this is done with a private contract that the Sonoran lawyers, we draw up for the buyer and seller. So you are legally under contract with that seller to make your payments, and then it's all taken care of once you pay it off.
A lot of properties here in Rocky Point are cash, which means if it lists for $359, you need to have $359 in cash.
Well, if it's listed, Thomas, I always try to get you a little better
Other
deal.
people might, exactly.
But for the most part, yes. When it says cash, that means that seller wants it to be a cash transaction. So what I tell my buyers is that you have options. You cannot get a loan here in Mexico, or you shouldn't get a loan, because you need 50% down, and interest rate is well over 20%. I tell people you don't need a condo that bad.
No.
What the buyers have as an option is to pull money out of a property in the U.S., sell another property. If they have, say a mountain cabin and they want to trade the mountains for the beach, sell that, and then you have cash. You also can pull money from retirement accounts. And there's a great CPA up in Arizona that I refer people to, and he'll take a call, a free call. I tell people it's worth a call if that's the option you want to try. So pulling money from retirement accounts is how a lot of people are also making these as an investment.
The Sonoran Resorts also have, in select circumstances, some developer finance opportunities.
Yes. Those are on the properties that the Sonoran developers still own. Most of those at this point are all at the Sonoran Sky Resort. They will offer 20-year financing at 5.9%. There's no pre-qualification to get this loan either in your name. They handle everything themselves. They have flexible down payment options as well. At the Sky, they have some great closeout incentives, and I can certainly tell people about that when and if they come down.
How many people would you say, from your experience, buy that they come to use it just for themselves, or they use it as a rental property for real rental income, and then they use it whenever they want, take it off the market to do that?
Okay, so I'd say 50% of my clients rent, where the other 50% use it strictly as their own personal use. The people that do rent do very well. Each Sonoran property has an on-site management company that will manage the property for you. You certainly can be a self-renting owner if you have the time to invest in that. But using the on-site management company, Casago Reservations manages the Sea, the Sun, and the Sky resorts. They will manage it for you, take care of your property like you would. They have full maintenance here on staff. They have the maids that come in and take care of it after your renters leave. So a good portion, 50% of my buyers do end up using it as a rental investment property. The nice thing is you certainly are the owner as well, so you can block off the times that you want to come and use it, and they work with the owners as well. There's no minimum or maximum days that you have to have it rented either. So you have the flexibility of using your property when you want.
Casago does a great job. Steve Schwab,
yes,
who we both know, the CEO of that company, an American,
yes,
a veteran,
correct,
a guy who you will find down here.
He's a Sonoran owner.
Yes, and has also that great little restaurant, Collins Cantina, which, oh my God, the breakfast burritos.
I'm nuts about the French toast myself, but yes, very good.
I crave, yeah, they're great. I crave those sometimes. But so anyway, that's great. So if you live in Colorado or you live in the Northwest, like some people do, or other states, you can just hand it off to them. You collect the checks, and they get your renters. They do everything for you.
They take care of everything for you, yes.
And then there's others like me, like friends of mine, that they want to be down here, and they want to know what's going on down here. And you can actively do it yourself, Airbnb and so forth.
Yes.
You can make it work if you want to.
Correct.
What kind of a shot in the arm do you think it will be with a cruise ship coming in here? The Cruise and Maritime Voyages bringing the Treasure of the Sea of Cortez cruise at the end of 2019.
It will change the dynamics of our town, and certainly for rentals as well, because right now most of the renters are coming down for a long weekend, 4 or 5 days at a stretch. Having a cruise line begin and end their cruises here in our town, it's going to open up eyes to new people to the Sea of Cortez and Rocky Point, because unless you're in Arizona, a lot of people don't know about this little hidden gem here. I didn't until it was just an accident that we found out about Puerto Peñasco. But for the most part, the industry, the cruising industry, it's a big group of people that go all over the world, and Rocky Point's going to become part of their experience.
I've been working in contact for months with the Cruise and Maritime Voyages folks, and I love the fact that they've just taken a chance on this little place, and they're invested heavily in it. And one of the jokes is they say, everybody tells us, that the real estate property values are going to skyrocket because of us, and they're like, we've got to sell cruise packages. That's what we're focused on.
Very true. I mean, we hear a lot about what it will do to the real estate market down here, for sure. Our sales director told us years ago when they talked about this, that once that's here, real estate will become a very wealthy man's game down here. Because it is going to open up so many eyes to our fine little town. So yes, they are right. There's no crystal ball to tell us exactly what's going to happen, but we can only look at projections of what's happened in other areas that this has happened to.
Me, having spent so many years on the beach in New Jersey, never in a million years did I think I could be beachfront. So we had a place a block and a half off the Atlantic Ocean. Down here, you can be beachfront.
And that was one of the things when I was that buyer 11 years ago. I actually counted steps from every place I was looking to buy, how many steps it was going to take me to get my toes in the sand at the water. My daughter thought I was nuts, but I wanted that true beachfront. Originally coming from California, you couldn't afford or at least I couldn't afford anything on the beaches in California. But when we came here and saw, yes, you can, and the Sonorans are literally steps to the beach. It's not a block away. It's
Right.
not, set further back, because there are some resorts that do set further back. But if you want true beachfront living, the Sonoran Resorts is what worked for us, and I'm sure it works for many other buyers just like yourself, Thomas.
So what would you say to someone who's perhaps teetering on the fence, driving in the car on the way down here for a weekend? Is this something that people can do?
It can work for many people. It is something. If it all comes down to the money, the situation, time in their lives, where that what they have. When I get a buyer that they're starry-eyed and it's like, can I make it work? I sit down and I educate them along the process of how it can work, and usually most people can.
I have had what I'll call less than stellar experiences with other real estate professionals, but with you, I knew day one, literally, how much you cared. I knew this woman is on it. This woman is passionate.
I get a lot of excitement seeing, especially when people like what you've done in your place, Thomas, they turn a condo into their personal beach home. Everybody has different styles and tastes, but I get a big excitement when I see my owners in their home and when they've put all their personal touches in it. So I do get very excited, and that to me is priceless.
So you and I doing a podcast together, is the only difference is we're using headphones, microphones, and cameras rather than sitting in your office.
Yes, I've never done this, so yes, it is a little strange.
But I can't tell you how many times when I've been sitting in there, people will come in, they will have talked to you for years, and then they're finally ready. Mm-hmm. Or a guy will come in off the street in a bathing suit and a beer in his hand. You treat them all with kindness and respect and interest.
Yes.
And bam, you never know who's going to be your next client and / friend.
Well, thank you for saying that, because it is everyone. It starts with opening a conversation. Would you like it here? And if you do, most people then come into an office. Well, what is it going to cost? How does this all work? And my job is to educate each and every person. My one client, I worked with them for over 5 years, and we pulled one together for them, and they are thrilled. They're actually here at the Sun as well. So it just, everybody you don't know. They may not be your buyer today or 6 months from now. It may be 6 years from now. But I'm here to help them through that process and to hopefully find them the perfect condo that works best for them.
Perfect. Let's leave it there. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for stretching your comfort zone. How was it? Was it fun?
It was fun.
It was fun for me.
It was fun. I'm sitting here talking to a friend, but I have a mic in front of me and earphones, so it's a little odd.
Okay. Well, you are not the first woman who said an experience with me was a little odd. Thanks again.
All right, my pleasure.
Just because a realtor's face is on a billboard in Puerto Peñasco doesn't mean they're the best for you, especially if you're buying at the popular Sonoran Resorts. Jennifer Ridsdel has many satisfied buyers, me included, and I've referred her to friends who now recommend her as well. So thanks for being with us. If you enjoyed this podcast, please support us by subscribing, downloading episodes, leaving a 5-star review, and connecting with us and sharing in social media. You'll be eligible to win prizes and know you help keep us going and growing. Visit RockyPointPodcast.com for more info about this and Jennifer. I'm Thomas Baldrick. Until next time, adios, friends. We appreciate you being a part of the Rocky Point Podcast.